But when he said to them, let's just get on with the gun checking, they did. All right? But it didn't end there. After they had checked the gun and verified that it was empty. Now, first of all, how funny is it? It's supposed to be like, carrying a gun is threatening. But yet they sat there and lectured him before they checked the gun. So in theory, it could have been a loaded gun. Now, I bet they were just threatened by that gun, weren't they? So threatened they didn't think to check it first. This is the hypocrisy of this whole anti-gun position. So after they had checked the gun and verified that it was unloaded and compliant with California law, as Ryan and his counsel point out, their authority to continue the detainment ended right there. There is nothing in California law that says you can verify that it's unloaded and then continue as if some crime has been committed. Or then continue with a detainment. Or that a peace officer's statutory power to approach you, detain you, and check the gun then creates reasonable suspicion of something else so you can continue the detainment. There's nothing in the law that exists that says that. What did they do? They asked him for his identification to produce a driver's license, California ID, passport. And he declined. He said, I'm not required to do that under the law. This detainment is over. And he walked away with his family. Right on. Good guy. Ryan, thank you so much for showing some testicles. Now, so he goes about his business. Well, the deputies follow him out to his car, and they take his vehicle license plate down, and they run it. Okay? And let's see if I can find here what they charged him with. It's a kind of a lengthy article. Oh, wrong page. Stand by. What did they charge him with? Well, I'm probably not. It was something like interfering with the duties of a police officer. Yeah, there was two charges. I think it was interfering with the duties of a police officer and inhibiting, I believe it was inhibiting an ongoing investigation. Okay? Now, he was charged with this because when you decline to give them your identification, you are doing it legally. It falls in the category of remaining silent. Okay? What do we know about constitutional law versus criminal statutes? What we know, and is so well entrenched in American jurisprudence that it is what's called a well-settled point of law, and it cannot be argued against. You cannot criminalize the exercise of a constitutional right. So when Ryan declined to make that available, he was remaining silent. That's how the law sees it, by the way. It's not an act of aggression. It's not an illegal act. When you decline to provide further information, because that's what they wanted, right? Further information. We want to see what your name is. We want to see where you live. We want to see who you are. That they were seeking information. When you decline to provide that information, you are remaining silent. And that's amazing to most Americans, because most Americans believe that when a police officer says, I need your driver's license, or I need your identification card, or I need some form of identification, that you are under some sort of legal duty to provide it. Not true at all. Wrong answer. You are only required to provide it if the officer is performing a lawful detainment based on reasonable suspicion. Other than that, you don't need to provide ID. So, because I should explain, because he has no legal basis to ask for it. If he has no legal basis to ask, you don't have to honor the request. That's the legal principle. If he has no legal authority to ask, then the question is moot. Doesn't matter that he asked it. Legally, it's moot. You don't have to do anything. May I see your ID? No. I said I'd like to see your ID. And I said no. You're going to get in big trouble. And I still say no. Okay. So they got his license plate. They ran him, found out his home address. They then went to the district attorney's office, where some knucklehead, and I've got to consider that these people at the district attorney's office, they're like gang members. They're just like MS-13. They're just like, White Fence and the Mexican Mafia and the Crips and the Bloods. They're thugs. They are thugs. They are violent thugs. They filed charges against him for the exercise of a constitutional right. That's a violent thug. That's a piece of crap. So they found some piece of crap, some human piece of waste at the DA's office, who was willing to file criminal charges against Ryan for the exercise of his constitutional right to remain silent. That is a piece of crap. So, Ryan ended up getting with the Calguns Foundation. And the Calguns Foundation and its lawyers went to the district attorney's office and laid this all out for him. And the district attorney's office, apparently they got a supervisor involved, somebody who has a brain, somebody who is not a violent thug gangster, as the other gentleman. And I don't care if he's in a suit and tie or she's in a dress. He or she is a violent gang thug for filing those charges. So, basically, at this point, the whole thing has gone away. But here's the problem. There is going to be no corrective measures taken, i.e. punishment. You know what? And I don't necessarily care that it's not punishment, okay? Punishment is to teach somebody not to do it again. If there's another way to teach them not to do it again, all right, good to go. Most of you have children. Sometimes you have to punish them. But if you can correct that behavior without punishment, wouldn't you rather? Of course. So if there's a way to correct the behavior of these deputies in the future without punishment, all right. But guess what? Nothing's going to be done. Their behavior is not going to be corrected, and they're not going to be punished. The person in the district attorney's office who filed those charges isn't going to be corrected and isn't going to be punished. The district attorney's office isn't going to issue a memo to all of its counsel saying, in a situation, let's review the Ryan Burbridge case. Here, one paragraph summary. Don't do this. Do not file criminal charges because somebody exercised a constitutional right. Don't do that. Now, first of all, every attorney probably in the world, but especially in America, knows you cannot convert the exercise of a constitutional right into a criminal offense. They did it anyway. Do you know why they did it? They did it to back the deputies. The deputies did something illegal, and they didn't like that the citizen didn't knuckle under. He didn't grovel. He didn't get down on his hands and knees and kiss their patrol boots and ask them for mercy. And the deputies absolutely hated that. And they hated it so much they went to the district attorney's office, and somebody in the district attorney's office said, you know what, you guys are heroes and we've got your back. No, you're criminals, not heroes. I'm Dave Champion, back right after these words.